just want to share with you something amazing. So I'll preface it by saying that sometimes the most ironic or funniest things are when somebody says a joke in the exact opposite way we heard it. In other words, the punchline is the exact opposite. So I grew up always Orthodox, and my aunt has a large family, and she has her youngest was born after she married off her oldest. So she was a few months pregnant at her daughter's wedding. So to me, that was okay, normal. But so I remember once hearing a joke that, at an Orthodox wedding, the mother of the bride is expecting, at a conservative wedding, the joke was that the bride could be pregnant, and the punchline of the joke was that at a Reform wedding, the rabbi could be pregnant. And I was in college. I guess this is now something like 25 years ago or so.
That's a great joke.
What? Yeah, and I thought it was like so funny at the time, like, oh my gosh, like how different are we, right? And then when I was in college, it was in a developmental psychology class, and the teacher said this joke, except the opposite way. She was talking about family sizes and how there's a 2-child family, oldest, youngest, and some families even have 3 children, and there's a middle child. And I then piped up saying, yeah, there are some families that even have more than 3 children. And she says, oh yeah, that reminds me of a joke. She says, like at our weddings, at a Reform wedding, you could have the rabbi pregnant. At a conservative wedding, you could have the bride pregnant. And at an Orthodox wedding, and she started laughing as she said it, you could have the mother of the bride pregnant. And I thought, oh wow, right? And so that was like one of these
cable over there. It's a USB cable.
Right? So that really happened. And this morning originally I was going to do Sefer HaChinuch from the parsha, and I think I'll still go there. But this morning I was looking at the Sefer HaChinuch introduction, and he was talking about the unbelievable clarity that he has to the existence of Hashem, and how we had so many witnesses there who saw the amazing miracle, 600,000 as other than women and children, and how powerful it is. And then he says, I'll give you an analogy to help you see it with clarity, even if you have some non-believers. And he said, imagine a situation where you have everyone is telling you that the water is poisonous. All the experts in the world are telling you that you're going to get very sick if you come and taste this terrible water. And in fact, I think I could show it just move this here so you'll be able to see.
This is very tech-savvy. It's very tech-savvy.
It's unbelievable, because when you see it in the Sefer HaChinuch, like he's saying, the hamashal bazeh. If you're able to follow the Hebrew, I'll read it alongside. Do you see the Hebrew here in front? On your screen?
Yes, I see it. Yes.
Okay, so I'll share with you, because when you think about what's going on in the world today, and what he's using as an analogy, and I think nowadays people are using this as the reality and talk about God as the analogy. So let's just read what the Sefer HaChinuch says. Mishe idulo alfei alafim anashim. If you have that thousands upon thousands, I don't know, 100,000, millions, the whole world is saying, Shelo lishtot mimei nachal echad. Don't drink the water from one particular nachal, one particular, I guess, I don't know, wadi, river. Why? Because they saw that water was causing death to those who drank it. And this was tested. This has been tested thousands of times in so many different in so many different ways, right? And many different people in different lands, right? It doesn't really matter. Israel, Italy, which state you're in, I don't know, whatever it is. And then you've got one clown who says, and then there's this one smart aleck, Rofe Muvak, an expert doctor. And they say to you, Al ta'amen lekulam, don't trust them all. Ki ani modiacha mitzad chachma, because I could always tell you, I'm really smart, and I could tell you from wisdom, she'ein otan hamayim re'uyim lahamid, that water is not going to kill. Right? Is this crazy? So he's saying that there could be such a thing. So we're obviously dealing with it in terms of a virus, but he's saying, imagine you have a whole world and you've got an individual who's telling you, don't do it. Don't worry, you could still go to shul. Everybody could still hang out. Kids could play with each other, give the grandmothers a kiss, right? You could have someone saying that way, right? And they're saying, because because don't worry, the water is pure and it's easy, and the dirt that goes on it is fine. You could drink from them, as your soul be satisfied. Is it good for you to go and ignore the testimony that everyone's telling you, that all the trustworthy people are telling you, and just to do according to this one chacham? Be'emet lo tova davar. No, that's not a good idea at all. V'ish maskil lo yishma elav. And anyone intelligent won't listen. Uchadvar lo yaseh, and won't follow their words. So this idea, what I'm going to say now as the analogy, the Sefer HaChinuch gives as an analogy, is really our reality, which is to say that we're living in a time where all the experts, thousands upon thousands, are saying that we need to live in a different way, and that's what we're living with right over here. And we trust them. Even if there's going to be individuals, I don't even know how many there are anymore. They certainly are not too many. But even if there are individuals saying don't listen, we know that the trustworthy masses of scientific experts, health experts, are saying don't spend time socializing. Now, this is all a mashal, says the Sefer HaChinuch, to Yetziat Mitzrayim, Ma'amad Har Sinai, the Exodus from Egypt and the Revelation, that we had so many people who experienced that Hashem is real, that we had plagues in Egypt, and that we had a giving of the Torah, and so many people said it. And the reality is that even the other religions who have copied, who have become popular, no one's denying the Ma'amad Har Sinai, no one's denying that Hashem gave us the Torah. And that leads to a profoundly different life when we go and we live that way. So the topic, the shiur that we're going to do and learn together is Chinuch, which we generally refer to Chinuch as the training, educating, habituating of our children through the Sefer HaChinuch, through this book, which is a book on the mitzvot, right? That we all know that there's a Gemara that tells us there are 613 mitzvot, but the Gemara, for whatever reason, does not list what the 613 are. So many different early commentators, the Rishonim, tried to compile their lists. The earliest, I think, known is the Bahag, the Baal Halacha Gedola. Then the Rambam does it. The Ramban argues a lot on it. And a later one written that became very popular is the Sefer HaChinuch. And what he does is he goes through the mitzvot, describes them. For many, many of them, he gives what we call a shoresh mitzvah, a reason, a rationale, a depth, an appreciation. And then he says who and when it applies. Is it just for men and women at all times, only in Eretz Yisrael, only when we have a Beis HaMikdash? But the main thrust of the book is that I think most people find so enjoyable, is when he gives what we call the Shrashei mitzvah, the roots, the understanding, the depth behind each mitzvah. And when we get an appreciation for those mitzvah, we could have a much better appreciation of what it is that Hashem wants from us. But of course, it all has to be built on a foundation, and the foundation is that Torah is true. The foundation is that the mitzvos are relevant, that Hashem wants us to use the Torah to better our lives. And even though, of course, we'll never know the reason for a mitzvah, this is Hashem's Torah, but when we could appreciate some of the wisdom behind it, then of course we should bring that into our lives, right? We believe in Nasa and Ishma, we follow the Torah even when we don't necessarily understand it. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. We always are Nasa, we're going to follow the mitzvos, but Nishma, we still try to understand and bring it home. And I think that that's just an important foundation to be able to start to study when we go into the depth of knowing the Sefer HaChinuch. Any thoughts, questions before we begin?
Not for me.
Okay. And at any point, of course, you could be, unless you have background noise, you could mute yourself, but otherwise you're simply invited to be on. So I copied really the introduction here, thinking that we were going to do the whole thing, and then when I came to the mashal, I said not. I'm just trying to think let me share one more thing, and then maybe tomorrow we'll do the mitzvah on the parsha. There's only one mitzvah in this week's parsha. The most famous commentator on the Sefer HaChinuch, and one Sefer that I'll be using to help prepare and give depth to the class, is called the Minchas Chinuch. The Sefer HaChinuch, right? The book on education that it was written anonymously, but historians believe it was written by someone by the name of Rav Aaron Halevi, one of the great Rishonim, and he wrote it for his son's bar mitzvah. Then the Sefer Minchas Chinuch was written by a much later commentator who wrote many, many different svarim. He wrote on the Shulchan Aruch, he wrote on the Rambam, and they all got destroyed. And the only thing that we really have left from the author of the Minchas Chinuch is his book, his commentator. And he says that he wasn't feeling like, should he write it? He's already had this destruction. And he said that he had friends who pushed him, no, you need to write it. You need to share your wisdom. And he said, maybe it's not even so worthwhile. And to me, it was a fascinating thing, the power of friends, encouragement, and reaching out to make people feel like they're able to go and add was something that caused him to be able to have it. And now for generations, we all study the Minchas Chinuch. It's a sefer that we all use. So I think it's something worthwhile to think about and to be able to enjoy as we learn together. So I have got to get ready for my class. That's why I'm not going to start the first mitzvah today. We have school with Berman that I'm going to be navigating between. But in general, we'll try to start at 10 to 10:20 each day. And I'm so appreciative that you came on today. Have an amazing day.
Thank you, Rabbi Shields. That was wonderful words of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Take care. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Thank you, Rabbi.